Welcome back to Genre. I'm Katie.
I'm Elise.
And that is a wrap on 2025.
Cheers, everybody. And that's right. This is a wrap-up episode.
Just in case you didn't know.
Just in case you didn't know, we're wrapping
champagne.
it up. It was quite the year.
What a year it was.
Yeah.
We started a podcast.
We sure did, you know? That was just a decision we made in 2025.
You know, it definitely wasn't on my December 2024 going into 2025 bingo card.
No. You know, I have to find it because I know I did some sort of letter to future me last year in December. Yeah.
And you didn't.
I think I did. I know it for sure I did.
I feel silly about that.
And not going to surprise you at all, I don't know where I hid it. So I don't know where it is. I do think it's in this house.
I bet it's in a notebook. Because this is the time of year when you buy 1,000 notebooks and you're going to be like, I'm a notebook girly. But it never happens. It never sticks.
No, never sticks. But I do like to start all of the new year with like writing down intentions. I do find that like a lot of the times it works and like things happen. Yeah. There's been a few times where I've like written out my goals and like by Q2.
You've accomplished your goals?
Yeah.
No, it's never happened to me.
Well, it's because you're not writing them down.
I don't believe in writing things.
That's a lie, Katie. You do believe in writing things down.
It stresses me out when I write stuff down.
And remember when you remember also in 2025 for about 1 week you had a list app on your phone and you were going to be a list girl, but then it started to stress you out again.
Yeah, I still have that app.
Do you use it?
I haven't been using it, but maybe I will.
Maybe. And speaking of apps, that we use.
Oh,
I'm just want to give a pretty big fuck you to Goodreads is what I'm going to do here. Here's why.
Goodreads done us dirty this year.
Yeah, it's a trash app and we all know that. That's not a hot take. Mm-hmm. We all know that Goodreads is the worst tracker out there.
Yeah.
But we use it because it's connected to our Kindles.
That's right.
And when you finish something, it just automatically goes to Goodread check, asks you to rate it right there on your Kindle. There is not a more convenient app, even though it's absolutely fucking trash.
And I think I don't know if everyone here knows that Goodreads is in fact owned by Amazon.
Yes.
You know, the biggest company in the world with more money than any other company.
And they've spent exactly $0 on this app since they've acquired it. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, but this is 15 years ago.
Yeah. All right. So there is a reason in particular. In preparation for this wrap-up episode, I paid a little bit more attention to my Goodreads app, as I usually do. Usually when you sign into Goodreads, it just says, your 2025 challenge and how many, what's your goal, what's your reading goal. I always set mine at 100.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
You don't change it per year?
No, just 100 per year. Sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. I don't really.
Oh, you don't take it too seriously?
I don't take it too seriously. So there's been years I've like fucking doubled it, but those are the years that I'm reading such utter trash.
Yeah.
That it's, a book a day. The years that I read over 100 books tend to be some of my worst reading years in
what you're reading.
In what I'm reading.
Okay.
I'm just in a deep depressive spiral and I just need to be reading Omegaverse over and over and over again.
I see.
Yeah. But I've never, I look at it, see how close I am to the goal every once in a while, just move upon my day. But I really looked into it. This year, I exported the data. Also, surprises nobody, made a bunch of spreadsheets, really did some deep analysis of this, did a year over year from 24 to 25 because I had some questions, which we'll definitely get into. And here's the thing I realized, that where you are in your goal, high level,
your little progress bar,
is double counting shit.
I know.
So if you finished it and it's still technically on your Kindle, it double counts. It says it's on your Red shelf and your Kindle shelf, which I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what a Kindle shelf is.
I assume it means it's in your Kindle, but like it's always it's all on my Kindle. And it's not all of them.
No, it's actually it's very specific books. And I can't say it's like, oh, these are the ones where I downloaded an audiobook. Because that's not it either.
And that's another thing I realized. Books that I might have had on my Kindle and also was listening to on an audiobook, if I happened to finish that book on audiobook and not on my Kindle, it didn't get a date. So it marked it as read, but it didn't give it a date finished.
Yeah.
So it wasn't on my final list of books. So I had to go in and just absolutely sanitize my data like I was at my day job, and I am mad about it. It both lied to me.
Yeah.
And didn't do its one job, which was just keeping track of books I read on Amazon devices, Audible included, if I was using Audible as the audiobook.
Yep.
And sometimes I don't. Obviously, if I was listening to the audiobook on Spotify or something, no problem. That's not connected to Goodreads. I wouldn't expect it to mark it. Or if I was reading a physical book, I would obviously have to manually mark it on Goodreads, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I was using Amazon programs and devices, and it was not, and Goodreads was not picking it up. It's like, it's the only job. It's the only reason I use the app.
Wait, is Audible not also owned by Amazon?
It is. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm using this. This is an ecosystem that should be working smoothly, and it does not.
But I have to say, the internet's kind of my biz. And I often think that Amazon, trash app. Like, I know.
Yeah.
Like, there are just some things that I think that Amazon should be doing better. And they are not.
No.
And unfortunately, Goodreads has really taken the brunt of it this year in 2025.
Well, yeah, particularly when I really had to go deep. And I had to tell Goodreads a thing or two. I have some things to say to, I guess, Mr. Bezos, but he's not paying any attention to this app for sure.
He's like, Goodreads who? Do I own that?
It's so bad. I feel like
he doesn't know.
Like, also, let us know is when you hear this and you go back and you compare on Goodreads, where you are in the challenge bar that's available all year round and where you are on the 2025 year in reading.
Yeah, like, is this just us?
I don't know, but like, I really want to know. But like, it was both of us. And like, the year in reading populated for me, I guess, I don't know, a week or so ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a full 10 books less than what that challenge bar said. Yeah.
This is my Goodreads red list.
It says your 2025 year in books says 30. And your 2025 reading challenge, when I click into it, says 35 of 35.
Well, that's all bullshit.
It's all like, that doesn't, why would you do that? And it's because it's double counting things. That reading challenge progress bar needs to be seen to.
100% agree. Well, speaking of which,
yeah,
why don't we get into the books that we've actually read this year?
All right, let's get into the recap.
Yes.
All right, so Katie, you start us off. How many books did you read this year?
Well, at the time of this recording, I have read 30 books.
I think that's very good for you.
I still have 4 days left. I'm trying to get in a couple short stories now that I know, because I thought that I was on track until Elise brought this to my attention.
I'm so sorry. I mean, it's
let me know that I've got 5 additional books to read in 4 days.
I know, and as we've spoken about on the show over and over again, you're not a particularly fast reader.
Listen here. I think I am a fast reader. It's just that the time that I devote to reading is less than the time that you devote to reading.
Yeah. You just found audiobooks this year.
Yes, that is very true.
And I think next year you will be using audiobooks more. I think that you will find that greatly increases the amount of books you can read.
Half of this year, I learned about audiobooks.
Yeah, basically once we started the pod, for the most part.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, and now, Elise, how many have you read?
84. As of this recording, I've read 84 books this year, not the 99 that Goodreads would have you believe. It's 84. And I'll probably finish 1 or 2 more.
In 4 days. Yeah.
Yeah, about.
Okay. So we're both missing the goal this year.
Yeah, we're missing the goal. But like I said, my goal's always 100. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. And actually, me hitting 100 means I'm not reading any good books. It just means I'm reading trash garbage. So I think that's actually, I'm very proud of myself this year. Also considering we started a podcast this year.
Yeah.
Which is a time-consuming hobby we've created for ourselves.
That's exactly right. Speaking of which, did you, during your data collection of this year's reads, did you identify any genre shifts?
Yeah. Wow. Well, did I? So, there's a lot, actually. So I've always said that one of the big reasons I started this podcast was to get myself away from reading Omegaverse and Kindle Unlimited romance. Again, these short, anywhere between like 150, 300, very trope heavy books. Nothing wrong with them, but I was reading them exclusively. I was very much trying to expand my horizons a little bit. And when I did the year over year compare, 2024 to 2025, I did read last year 93 books.
Okay.
Yeah. So down to 84, 85, let's just say this year. And I read, and they were a ton of romance and Omegaverse. And for the sake of this analysis, I have separated Omegaverse from romance. While Omegaverse is basically, it's a romance, a subgenre of romance, but because it's such a huge amount of both of these numbers, I have separated it.
Okay.
So last year, I read 41 romance books and 39 Omegaverse books. So of my 93,
wow.
Yeah. Of my 93, 80 of them were in the romance genre. Yeah. And I basically, and Omegaverse and just standard romance were equal, pretty much.
Yep.
So this year,
tell us,
I read 38 standard romance and 21 Omegaverse.
Wow, big difference.
So that is that's moving in the right direction.
That's exactly right.
So yeah, so romance, straight romance was pretty, relatively flat, 41 to 38, which makes sense. It's one of my fave genres.
Yep.
But Omegaverse down from 39 to 21, it's basically half.
That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that insane? Wow.
I think it's more, God, this English major right here.
I know. Well, you know what? It started, I should have got, if I went back one more year, if I went back to 2023.
Yeah.
When I like really found Omegaverse, or when I really sort of refound like the Kindle Unlimited romance.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that probably in the year 2023, I bet you I didn't pay for a single book. It was just all Kindle Unlimited. So I would be interested to see what that looked like. That would probably be much heavier on like the romance side of things. And I mean, also Romantasy and stuff like that too, which you can get on Kindle Unlimited. So those trends are moving away. When I first looked at 2025, I was like, 21 Omegaverse, Elise. Did you really diversify at all? But I did. I lowered that by almost 50%. And then this year, I also read 2 thrillers, which I don't think I've read ever. 4 sci-fis books.
Yep.
And 2 what I would call like lit fic books, literary fiction books. And in 2024 it was basically romance, Omegaverse, fantasy, romantasy. So it was only 4 genres.
And now you've expanded your horizons.
And I've really expanded my horizons, which I think is really great. I think that was some really meaningful steps, which I can only thank this podcast for. I don't think it would have happened otherwise. And listen, I'm not going to stop reading Omegaverse. I'm not going to stop reading small town cowboy romance. Like, I mean, that's not something I'm going to stop. But I'm happy to see that I'm diversifying.
Yeah, you're diversifying your assets.
Yes, exactly right.
I would say I've also obviously diversified my assets because last year, 100% Romantasy.
Yeah, I love diversifying the assets. Is what we're going to call it. Okay, keep going.
These are all of our assets.
Yes.
So yeah, I think last year I read like 33 books, all of them being Romantasy. Some of the big books, some of the Kindle Unlimited, like random stuff that I found. And this year, it's about half and half. So, well, I'd say half Romantasy and half other genres.
Ooh, okay.
So I think that is a big, big, big difference. I read romance books for the first time, which I've never read before. I think like 5 or so. I got back into thrillers, which is a genre that I really loved when I was younger, and I'm very happy that brought me back to it. And yeah, some of the other, I guess, I don't know what you call them. Literature books.
Lit fic, literary fiction.
Literary fiction, Dina's favorite.
Literary fiction. Honestly, her episode convinced me to read a few. I'll be honest with you.
Did we tell her to read Girl Dinner?
I'm not sure. I'm always just
we gotta
passing things back and forth to Dina.
Anyway, so yes, I've definitely diversified. I don't know if I don't know how much my opinions changed
It's
on
not
my
like,
genre. Like, Romantasy is still my absolute favorite genre.
yeah.
It's still what I want to read. We were discussing earlier, how can I get to my Goodreads goal? And I kept looking at like shorter books, novellas, this and that. And there was no shortage of romance books.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is just not what I want to read right now.
Yeah.
And so I really had to dig deep on the internet to find some romantasy, fantasy type shorter books that I could hopefully get done by the end of the year. And I am reading like a weird book right now, but it is what it is.
You got to do what you got to do.
Gotta do what I gotta do.
So it's not as if you found a new favorite genre, but I think maybe you've have some appreciation for at least some of the genres that you said you'd never read, like romance.
That's true. Well, I'm very happy that I got back into reading thrillers.
Yeah.
Like, I read a couple more outside of the podcast book reads for in the last couple weeks.
Mhm.
And I'm glad about that.
Awesome.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we're also going to do a one-line plot for our 2025 year of reading. And I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Okay. So
Go
here's
first.
mine. 2025 was the year I launched a podcast to escape my Omegaverse habits, dipped a toe back into fantasy, fell headfirst into cowboys, and somehow became devoted to a man named Carl and his cat, Princess Donut.
Oh my God, that's so good. Okay. Mine is 2025 was a year of reading faster than ever, leaving my comfort zone, and giving out more 3-star ratings than I ever thought possible.
Oh, yeah. That's good too.
I did see in one of the Goodreads analysis, like your average rating. Average rating much lower this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's because you were reading books that
like
you
I would not have
would have
normally
never chosen. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was
Oh,
interesting.
that's interesting. And
Yeah.
I didn't, you know what? I didn't rate last year. This year is also the year I've started consistently rating books. Remember when we started this podcast, I was giving thumbs up, thumbs down. I still want to do it sometimes,
No.
but I don't. I rate. This year is the first year I've rated books, so I couldn't do a YOY analysis,
a year-over-year analysis
of my ratings because I did not rate last year.
Alrighty, Elise. I know this was a tough job, but can you please give us your top 5 books of 2025?
I will.
Thank you.
It was tough, and as you'll see, I took some liberties, but but for the most part, there's 5, and I have a tie for 5th place.
Okay.
And it is surprising everybody, I think. Girl Dinner.
I'm not surprised you ended up choosing that.
Because when we did this episode, we pretty much said we hated this book.
Yeah.
But it was also the episode, like our longest episode ever. We talked about it forever. I'd said I'd never recommend it to anybody, and I haven't stopped recommending it since then. I had to move my rating from 3 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, maybe it needs to be a 5. I don't know. But I haven't stopped thinking about this book, and I really think that
says something.
That says something. But I am going to give it a tie with I Who Have Never Known Men, which is actually one that I just finished over in the break, and you've seen it on TikTok and things like that. It was a re-release of a book by Jacqueline Harpman, and it's also a translation. It was originally written in French.
Okay.
And it was originally written, let's see, in 1995.
Oh.
And they re-released it this year, and it is a really cool book, also a thinker. Like, I would call this more of a literary fiction book, but it's also a little bit genre defying. It's kind of speculative fiction. You wouldn't necessarily call it sci-fi, but you could, maybe.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a coming of age. I think there's a lot of, like feminist themes through it. Very interesting. Like, it's a real thinker. And I think I'm going to be thinking about it for a while. And honestly, could possibly even do a reread of it. It's one of those.
Okay.
And it's short. It's like 180 pages, something like that.
Maybe I should put it on the list.
Put it on the list. I mean, I would love to see what you think of this, but I would love to. I'm not sure. It's definitely not something you would have ever just picked up yourself, for sure.
Okay.
But I think there's a reason why it was like all over the internet
Okay.
this year. Like one of my friends, Carrie, who I work with, she read it, and I read her Goodreads review of it, and she said it was a fever dream. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's actually a pretty accurate way of describing it.
Okay. So my number 5, I played by the rules, Elise. I didn't have any ties.
I know. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know, true.
All right. My number 5 is We Are All Guilty Here.
Yeah.
Karen Slaughter. I was very happy to put a thriller on the list. I did have some ties because I actually only have, I think, 4 5-star books this year. And I had a bunch of 4-star ones, but I chose this one because I had a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. So that's mine.
And it was so twisty.
Twisty twists.
Yeah. Okay, coming in at 4 is the entire Bourbon and Lies series, although I'm just going to pull out Bourbon and Lies for this, but all 3 of them. I think this was one of the best romance series I read this year. And as we discussed, I read a lot of romance this year. I think it's a really good book to get people who aren't into romance to read romance. It's got a bit of a thriller subplot in there, a mystery. So the third act is not your standard third act breakup, right? So it's a little bit different. It breaks some of the, tried and true tropes of the genre, even though it sticks to romance. But I think it was really good. And I even think, Katie, who this was probably the first romance you've ever read, you even really enjoyed it.
I did also enjoy it. And just a shout out, Elise recommended this to my best friend Erica, and it's truly the book and the series that got Erica into being a regular reader.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. 2025, the year Erica became a reader.
Yay.
And that's all thanks to us.
I know. You know what? That's unbelievable.
Let's cheers again.
Cheers again.
Cheers for us.
Cheers for us. You're welcome, Erica.
All right. My number 4, I actually don't have. And I'm bummed.
Yeah.
Because I should have bought it at Barnes & Noble today.
We were. I would have bought it. I was at Barnes & Noble.
Yep. So my number 4 book is The Gift by Frida McFadden.
Oh my God.
Which is really a short story. And I just read it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It's super, super short. But it kind of just shocked me. It shocked me. It was not exactly what others would think of it right off the bat. It's a little short story, a little holiday short story based off of the Gift of
the Magi.
The Gift of the Magi. But it has a little twist, which I'm not going to say what that is here. But I laughed out loud.
I know. You really did. You were like, that was...
And I had to make Elise read it because I was like, I can't wait till you read this and figure out the twist. And Elise didn't
figure it out. I didn't. Yeah. I was so distracted by the fact that it was a Gift of the Magi sort of retelling that I just kept picking up all of those things. And I missed the thing that made it hilarious.
The thing that made it 5 stars.
Yeah. The thing that I missed the thing that made it 5 stars. You're right.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe we need to read more Frida McFadden. Maybe that's what we've learned.
I think I like what she was bringing to the table. So
I know. And we've never. I mean, Housemaid just got released in theaters and stuff like that. That's her biggest one.
Yep.
And
so
we've never read it. But
I might have to bring that to the pod.
All right. Okay. So my number 3 is Serial Killer Games. This
if only
is so. I mean, like this also has some genre lore on this. This is an episode that will probably never make it to air.
We'll never see the light of the day.
We'll never see the light of day. But I loved this book. It was a weird little book. Katie picked it because she thought it was going to be a cozy mystery, but it turned out to also kind of be genre defying.
Yeah. I don't even know what. How about this? It wasn't a cozy mystery.
No, it wasn't a cozy mystery. It was a romance, ultimately, but it broke all of the romance rules. There is a serial killer plot in this, kind of.
Yeah, sort of.
And I think my favorite part of this book was that it was purposely so trope heavy, but in order to satirize the use of tropes. There was like every trope you could have ever wanted in this book used in a way that made me kick my little feet, like laugh.
Yeah.
It was really, I thought it was smart. I thought it was interesting. And I loved it so much. I loved this book. I also recommend this to everybody. I'm just like, you want to read a weird little book?
Yeah.
I got one for you.
It's one hell of a weird book.
I loved it. I loved it. And I think it's also a debut, Kate Posey's debut,
Oh, yes, it is.
a debut novel. I loved it. Loved it.
All right. My third is Silver Elite.
Nice. All right.
And I don't care what anyone says about this book.
You liked it.
I loved this book, and I go into a lot of books just not reading the reviews or listening to anything about it before going into it, and I'm so glad that I did in this case. And whoever the ghostwriter is for this book.
Yeah. Or the real writer, because Danny Francis is definitely not their name.
Danny Francis is definitely not their name. I thought you did a great job. I thought this was great. I thought it was a fun book, different, but definitely in my romantasy comfort zone.
Yeah, it like brought some dystopian tones.
Yeah.
I think that we haven't seen in a while.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a 5-star read for me, just saying.
Yeah. You have my number 2 over there. So my number 2 is Rose in Chains, which I thought was just a really great romantasy book.
Yeah.
I think it stood on its own. It's obviously one of the many fan fictions that's been traditionally published this year. And I think it stood alone away from the Harry Potter world in which
100%.
it came from. And even though I think I went into it thinking it might have been a standalone, it's obviously not. There's going to be a series into it. I think it's good that it was a series, because if we've learned anything from Alchemized, a 1,000-page book is actually not what I want. Sometimes I think it is, but it's actually not what I want. I think I would prefer to wait a year to have really well done segments of a book.
I agree.
Than to have it all at once. I often think that with fantasy books too. I'm like, why do you need to give me 7 books? Why can't it just be one book? I think I take it back. I think it needs to be a series. I think this one proves it, and I just think it was really well done. A really good romantasy book.
Yep. All right, my number 2. I know this. I think this came out last year. Is Phantasma. So I read this right at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
Like right in the beginning of January, and it's a book that I recommend to everyone.
I haven't read it.
You haven't read this?
I know. I just.
Oh my! I was like, I thought you recommended it to me, but no, it was Amanda.
Oh yes, Amanda did. She stomped her little foot.
Yep. This was Amanda was home for Christmas, our little sister, and read this book, and then kept saying, "You have to read this book. You have to read this book. You're gonna love it." And I kept forgetting about it. And I finally read it in the beginning of January. And I was like, okay, you're right. This is an awesome book. Yeah, I love it. I recommend it to everyone. Another 5-star read. Beautiful romantasy.
Okay. And then my number 1.
No surprises here.
And it's also a series. It's Dungeon Crawler Crawl. This surprised me in every way. I think I'd have to look, but I started this book maybe last month. The first series, I think so, November. So. I'm on the 5th book now. These books do get chunkier as they go along. I think the first book was, what is this, like a solid, 450-ish sort of page book. The 5th book now is over 700 pages.
Oh, damn.
And I think they just get longer. But I don't usually just grab books written by dudes. Again, as I've said previously, it's a hangover from being an English major and having a master's degree in rhetoric. You read just a lot of dudes. And so when I read for pleasure, I usually say, no, thank you. But this is really grabbed me. It's like all I'm thinking about. It's all I'm talking about. I think 7 books are out now, and it's not a completed series
I was just
yet.
gonna say, it's not?
No. And I'm on 5. It's definitely more sci-fi. Technically, its sort of subgenre is lit RPG, which is definitely something I've never read before, and I had to look it up. It's basically a literature role-playing game, and
I know. I was like, I know what that is in video games, but...
and that's what it's. It's basically it's when the book is a video game, and that's what this is.
Oh, okay.
I love it. It has a lot of depth. to it for a book that also has like a lot of fart humor. You know, like it's doing a lot. It's doing a lot. I think as I'm going through the series, it's really growing as a series as well. On top of, I think, one of the greatest friendships ever written, which is Carl and Princess Donut.
I know.
Princess
I
Donut,
want to read it just because of that.
yeah, Princess Donut is a cat, and she's again, I think could be one of my favorite characters.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So, I mean, I'll keep you posted. I still have more books to read, but Dungeon Crawl Carl is my number one book of the year and also my surprise of the year.
All right. My number one book of the year is Rose and Chains. I was floored. I absolutely devoured this book. I loved it, loved it. I cannot wait for the rest of them. I don't know if this is actually true, if it's Julie Soto's debut. I mean,
I think it is
I
her
know
debut.
that
It's her traditionally published debut, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. And I recommended this book to so many people and did not tell them that it was based off of Harry Potter fan fiction. And they were like, oh, once I told them that, they were like, whoa, okay. But it completely stands by itself. It has a world that makes so much sense, magic that makes sense, that is interesting, that is different. And I can't wait to see where it goes. Like, I wonder if it's going to follow the same path as Alchemized, or if by the time we get to the third book, something totally different is going to be happening.
Yeah, I think
that was my number one.
Nice. Yes. We had literally only one crossover.
I know. I'm not surprised that yours was Rose and Chains. I'm not too surprised by your books.
No, I'm not surprised by yours either.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of those books come into play with some of our other ones, like down here. I mean, obviously we've read so many books together this year, the first time ever because of the podcast, and to have only one real crossover in the top 5, I think is interesting. Next big question.
Yeah.
What was your most overhyped book of this year?
So mine definitely has to be Onyx Storm.
Didn't even read it.
I know.
I was so done after Iron Flame that I was like, I'll let Katie read Onyx Storm first. And then everything you told me about it, I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'll get around to reading it, but it's not high on my list.
So I love the Fourth Wing series. Like, I thought it was great. I loved it. I love Magic School. I was definitely looking forward to this. Obviously, everyone was hyped about it. I don't know what happened with this book. Like, I still enjoyed it because I still enjoy the world. I still enjoy the characters. But it was like we took a hard pivot into suddenly everyone has last names.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody. And why are we calling people by their last names? I didn't know their last names last book. Why are we calling them by that? Like, it's their nickname. I had to look up who all of these names were. There was too much questing.
It became a quest.
It became so questy that I forgot what we were questing for.
Okay.
And then the big bad in this book, which I don't even know if you'll remember, Elise. So it was this woman. I'm not even going to go into what she is, but she was just showing up everywhere. She was just like showing up everywhere. And do you know who she reminded me of?
Who?
In the video game Spyro, that little wizard that holds the egg that you have to get, and it's like,
yeah.
And it's so hard to get that egg all the time from that little grasp of that wizard. That is what the big bad reminded me of. She just annoyed me. She was bothering me. She was just showing up all the time.
Just to be like, I'm here and you can't get me by.
You can't get my egg. Yeah, so the ending was very good. Like, I thought the ending was very cool. I can't wait to see what comes out of it. But I was disappointed in everything that was happening in the middle of that book.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. What about you?
I may or may not get around to Onyx Storm. I don't know. It feels like I have to just because
of pop culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man. And they're long. They're long books to be annoyed
Yeah.
while you're reading it.
It's true.
So I hear you. Mine's Alchemized.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Alchemized, I don't know if I'd have a different opinion if I didn't read Manacled. So I do think my biggest gripe is that I don't think the world that
Yeah.
was created for Alchemized stood on its own. I don't think
Yeah.
the world building was strong enough without the shortcut of the Harry Potter universe
Yeah, I agree.
that it stood on its own in a way. I do still think the storyline of Alchemized, of
Yeah.
Manacled and Alchemized, is tragic, well written.
Yeah.
I think it has some very poignant and interesting things to say through it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a war story.
It's a war book.
It's a war book, and this is about two people who were utterly destroyed by this war and honestly destroyed themselves in the
Yeah.
process. And it was a love that barely saved them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just barely saved them. And I do think that that is a really interesting take if we're going to throw this into like the romantasy sort of genre, which I hesitate, but it's definitely in that world. It's a
Yeah.
really interesting take on that. Again, a little bit of genre bending.
Yeah.
And I do think it was beautiful at times, like the
Yeah.
type of message it was trying to get across. But as a 1,000-page fantasy book,
It's tough.
it was tough, and it was because, in my opinion, it needed the Harry Potter shortcut.
Yep.
And it didn't stand on its own.
Yeah. I agree with you there. All right, let's go to tropes.
Okay.
Let's do our trope MVPs of 2025.
Okay.
What is or was your favorite trope of the year?
So it doesn't surprise you that I did an analysis. This was part of the analysis that I did.
Shocking.
So if we're going to be technical about it, on my analysis, it was small town found family. Were like the ones that I read the most of this year.
Okay.
I do think that's mostly thanks to Elsie Silver, because I read pretty much her entire catalog this year. And so that's going to be very small town romance. It's a cowboy romance, but small town romance, a lot of found family in there. So that was my trope of the year.
Okay. I would say my trope of the year is morally gray or dangerous love interest.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's not new.
I don't know.
You think it is?
I feel like it's newer.
All right.
For me. I felt like I read darker books, maybe some more darker fantasy books this year that I actually enjoyed, because I have read them in the past and I've been like, I hate this.
Okay.
And so I would say morally gray is my trope of the year. All right, what are you sick of, tired of?
I think I'm moving away from like the fated mates of what is basically Omegaverse, right? So like in Omegaverse, fated mates is the subplot. They're always trying to find their
even
mate.
they're human. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. We've already been through this, Katie. But that is the main trope of all of those books. And I think I'm moving away from it. I think it'll always have a place in my heart. But I think I want something new. I want something new. I want something fun.
Okay.
I would say even a book like Mate that came out this year. Allie Hazelwood's Omegaverse, but it's not.
Well, now you're confusing me because there's werewolves in that book.
Yes, so it's not a classic. It's not a classic Omegaverse, but it is a take on it. Has a lot of the Omegaverse tropes and kind of elements to it. I think that's a more interesting take on. Is what I'm trying to say. It's a more interesting take on this trope than what I have been reading. So I think I'm moving away to some things a little bit more nuanced, if you will.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to say this is the trope I'm officially tired of or a trope I really didn't enjoy this year. And I put like women behaving badly, like messy women.
Okay. And because of girl dinner?
Because of girl dinner, because of the compound,
compound. Yeah. Okay.
Like I think that's just a trope that I can't get on board with.
Okay.
I can't get it. Like, it's going over me.
Yeah, you're not finding the deeper meaning there.
Yeah,
Or
I know a
the
lot of them are
commentary.
satire, the commentary, like, I'm nope. Nope, not for me.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And then what is a trope you didn't expect to love?
Lit RPG, baby.
I was just gonna say, I think we know what that is.
Bringing it back to Dungeon Crawler Carl. Didn't expect to love that. But I do. I've never played a video game.
I know.
Pretty much I mean, that's a lie. Obviously, I've played Mario Kart, but like even when we were younger, you were really playing Spyro to the end, and I was just like, it got hard. I'm gonna go read instead. It's just never been my thing.
I know.
And now I'm reading a literary video game, basically.
I feel it, and I started Dungeon Crawler Carl because we thought we were going to read it for the podcast, but I didn't get too far.
Mm.
And I feel like I would like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't know if I'm ready to commit
It's not
to like 7 books right now.
It's not a small commitment.
Yeah.
It's and it is, at least,
yeah,
in my opinion, it's getting better as it goes too.
Yeah.
So like it's one of those, and you can't read them out of order. Like it's like you have to read it as a series. They're not interconnected standalones. They are very much building upon the previous book. So
okay, and then a trope that I didn't expect to love is everything holiday edition.
Oh.
Because I don't think I've really ever read like holiday books before, and I read quite a few, and so I had some cozy mysteries or some thrillers, holiday edition style. I read Most Wonderful Crime of the Year and The Mistletoe Mystery, and I thought they were fun.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is I liked reading for the season that I was in, which I've never done before.
That's really fun. Yeah, you haven't.
No.
You're not a mood reader. You are this is what I want to read. It doesn't matter if it takes place in the summer or the winter.
Yes,
it doesn't matter where I am. I'm reading it.
100%.
You're not picking a special book because you're on vacation.
Oh,
it's just the book you were going to read anyway.
Yeah. 100%. Yep.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah.
So obviously, this year we started a podcast. So we're going to also look back and talk about genre and, what we learned, what our favorite episodes are, maybe some lore, if you will, for the full 6 months that we've been doing this. All right, Katie, what's your favorite episode?
So my favorite episode has to be Girl Dinner.
That was mine too.
I knew it was going to be, because we have done some great episodes. We've had some really fun guests, but I had to look back at the episodes where we couldn't stop talking.
Yeah.
And there was a couple, but I would say that Girl Dinner was the one that I was most excited to talk about, because I felt like I was exploding inside with thoughts, and we obviously can't talk about the book before we record the podcast. No. And so I couldn't wait to discuss one of the craziest books I've ever read.
Yeah.
And so that was my favorite episode. Yeah. And there's honestly so much of that episode that we cut.
There was so much. There was the cutting room floor of that honestly
should never see the light of day.
But we definitely did record for close to 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
on that. And I think the only other episode that came close was maybe Alchemized.
Yeah,
and because we had a lot to say about that as well.
Yeah,
but Girl Dinner was more hilarious. Alchemized was a serious book, and so therefore it was a serious episode.
Girl Dinner was not.
And so it was so funny. I did have an honorable mention because I had a feeling we were going to pick the same one.
Yeah.
And my honorable mention is On Keen's Off book.
Oh, I was going to say, like, that was another great one.
Yeah. Because again, I just think it was so funny. And On Keen is obviously one of my favorite people in the universe. But hearing her talk about smutty little romance books, which is what she reads pretty much exclusively. And again, as we know, a big chunk of what I read as well. And why she finds them not only enjoyable, but important. And all of that is just, great. I think was a great episode. And
I agree.
So I wanted to put that up there as well.
Love that.
That's actually a good segue.
Yeah.
Because we also when we started this, we were just going to do 2 book episodes a month.
Yeah.
Just give us time to read the books. But as we started this podcast, we were talking to people about it, it became very clear that A, everybody has something to say about books.
Yep.
And B, everybody wants to be on a podcast.
Everybody wants to be on a podcast.
So we're like, let's do it. Let's record it. So that's why we started Off Book. And I've also had a ton of fun doing that as well.
I think that was a really good way to bring like our friends and family or people that we look up to, people in the reading community, something that I feel like can grow over time, because everybody can listen to an interview about somebody talking about books, but people might not always be reading the same books that you are. Like, this is like not a book club. Like, we're not trying to have people read at the same time and then listen to our episodes. And so I think that was a really fun way to incorporate people that we think are awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's been so fun. And we're obviously going to keep continue doing it. But that's, I don't know, a way that even in the 6 months, we've tried to evolve a little bit.
Yep. What is the biggest thing?
I wonder if this is going to be the same thing. I'm going to go and you tell me if this is the biggest thing you've learned about podcasting.
All right, tell me.
Is that we need a lot of equipment.
I was just going to say, it's so hard.
Like, no, the thing is that it's not hard. Like, when we started this podcast, as I think many people who think that they start a podcast, we said, how hard can it be?
Always do it.
And that's true. Okay, that is true. It's not hard. Any dum-dum can plug a microphone into a computer and record a podcast. But here's the thing. To do it even a little bit well, you need a tremendous amount of equipment. Katie right now is kicking some of the equipment that we need.
And I'm also like, we're not saying that we're out here doing this better.
No.
Or well.
No.
But
I mean, this is DIY. We're DIYing it. This is not a call her daddy recording setup that we have right now.
Like, I wish everyone could see right now that my foot is like underneath my phone that's recording me.
A tripod holding her phone attached to a mic.
This microphone cord is wrapped around my leg.
Yeah.
I have to pee incredibly bad, but I don't think I can get up to make it to the bathroom without knocking all
everything's
this stuff
over.
down.
There is 1, 2, 3, 4 lights. Each one of us have 2 lights, and this lighting setup has been something that is just evolving, constantly evolving, because, and you know what? This is just for the social media clips. This is just because without marketing a podcast, no one's going to listen to it.
What are we going to do?
Just going to put the audio on Apple Podcasts and just hope that somebody says, look at these ladies. So
who would know?
Who would know?
No one would know.
No one would know. So we got to put it on social media. And now we're influencers. If only we were actually.
So one of my things is that social media is so hard.
Yeah, social media is the hardest part of this. I would agree.
I would say me and Elise could sit here and talk about books for days on end.
Yeah. And luckily, because we're sisters, it's the sort of setup of like when we record, how we record, when we have podcast meetings, when of that. It's pretty fluid.
It's fluid, and it's on everybody's mood schedule.
Yeah.
Like,
there's been times where I sound like, we can't record. I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And so it will be a bad episode. Let's do it tomorrow. And that's on being sisters. So,
and honestly, thank God in that sense, because once other people get involved, you gotta be a little bit nicer, a little bit more accommodating.
That's true. I know it's rough,
which is tough.
But the social media, hard as hell.
Is the hardest thing. I still don't get it.
You know what I'm thinking about right now?
What?
We haven't posted on social media today.
It's really hard.
I know. We're going to have to finish this podcast, post something. That's the hardest part. And I think that's the part that, I mean, we're going to talk about 2026 and what our goals are, but that's one of my biggest goals, is just to crack how to work it for us.
Yep.
Right? Like, it has to be a for us version of it, and we haven't cracked it yet.
No, like, listen, this is low budget.
This is DIY is what I like to call it.
This is DIY.
It is important to say, while I say we need a lot of equipment, this is an Amazon shop. You know what I'm saying? There's no digital SLRs in this. This is just.
You did buy a MacBook though, so.
Yeah, I needed it for several other reasons, but
true.
But I was working on like a 7-year-old Chromebook, so.
It was horrifying.
I think it was time. Yeah. All right, Katie, it's time for our 2025 wrap-up game, and this is going to be just rapid-fire superlatives.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give the question. You write on this little whiteboard that we definitely got for Dancing with the Stars, but we're repurposing it for this. Your answer to the question. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
First one. Best book boyfriend of the year.
Okay. Spelling doesn't count.
Spelling doesn't count.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Boom. Oh. Oh, interesting cross. Mine's Ace Fox from Bourbon and Proof.
Love
okay.
it.
All right. Okay. Next one.
Okay, wait. Oh my God, this goes so fast.
Is
Yeah.
the person you would most want to hang out with from a book.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think I know who yours is going to be.
I don't think so because I almost want to change it. It's too late now.
Okay.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my God, Bartholomew!
Would you put Clara?
I put Clara from Holiday Ever After because
I thought you were going to pick Princess Donut.
I know. I was going back and forth between Clara and Princess Donut, but I decided to choose a human.
God. Clara is a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
I would definitely want to be hanging out with her.
But obviously, if I could hang out with Princess Donut, I would.
Bartholomew is the shit, though.
Yeah. Okay. Sequel you're most excited for. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Ooh, I did Rose in Chains. Silver Elite for you.
So I was going to put Rose in Chains, but I don't know if we're getting that anytime soon. And I feel like we're going to get Silver Elite next year.
Okay. Fair enough.
Which is why I did it. But yes, I would say Rose in Chains otherwise.
All right. Best plot twist. Okay. I feel like this is going to be the same because we wrote for the same amount of time.
Okay,
1,
ready?
2, 3.
We're all
we're guilty here. Yes, that was the best. There was
literally this book had plot twist on plot. The plot twists had plot twists.
They did, and it was so good.
It was so freaking good.
Okay,
all right, I'm gonna switch sides.
Okay. Now, the book you can't stop thinking about, for better or worse.
All right,
1, 2, 3. Yes, Girl Dinner. See, Katie?
And I would say for worse.
I know, and I would say it started out for worse, and then it became for better for me. It was a real grower.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Okay.
Fave new to you author.
Spelling doesn't count.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
ooh!
I did Frida McFadden
because man, who would have thought that just a under 100-page novella would have absolutely thrown you?
I was chuffed.
Yeah,
like I was absolutely chuffed by that short story.
Mine is Matt Dinneman of Dungeon Crawler Carl fame. If you would have told me my new favorite author of the year would have been a man, I would have called you a liar.
Is that his debut novel, Dungeon Crawler Carl?
I'd have to go back. I believe so, but he was doing other things, so I could be wrong. Like he's I think actually pretty big in just like the role-playing game type of world. So I don't know much about him. I have to go and do some research. Okay. Worst third act. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh.
Yeah, so mine is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, and it was a cutie patootie little magical romance until that third act in which I wanted to toss it right across the room.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I'm going with The Compound because there was no payoff at the end of that book.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair too. Okay. Most unnecessary plot twist. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, interesting.
So I just shortened it. The magical innkeeping.
Yeah.
Like
what I thought was worst third act, you thought was unnecessary plot twist.
Yeah.
That's
like
fair.
We didn't need that.
No. And mine was serial killer games, but like in a great way. It's like because there was plot twist. There was also too many plot twists in that book, but I found them all hilarious and all excellent. And it's a little bit cheating, as I often do with rules I make up. But I think that was mine. Okay. Books that felt like a personal attack. I think this is going to need no explanation. Is it the same? Oh. So yours was Girl Dinner and mine was Alchemized.
Everything in this book felt like a personal attack on me as a woman. Like every piece of this was a personal attack.
Book you'd adapt for TV immediately. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I mean, yes.
It would be such like I want people who don't read to read this book, like our father.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get my dad to sit down to read a 700-page book, but
But he would
would
watch the show.
obsess
Yeah.
over a show.
I think The Compound was such a weird book to read, but I think it would come across much better in a TV show or a movie format.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
All right. That was fun.
Wow, that was fun.
Honestly, we should be doing this more often.
I know. I kind of like this.
I know, me too.
I mean, these are kind of shitty, but
I mean, yeah, listen, we can find better versions of this, but
low budget, like we said.
What's happening in genre in 2026? So, and like reading in 2026 as well. So first, let's talk about the books we're excited for to read next year.
Okay.
What are yours?
Personally, I'm excited for some sequels for some of the Romantasy books that I'm reading. I'm interested in reading some darker Romantasy books that I felt like I kind of got really interested in that this year, and I'm looking forward to reading more thrillers.
Okay.
Like Frida McFadden, I'm coming your way.
Yeah.
Karen Slaughter, like,
yeah,
great.
I think I'm obviously incredibly excited to read more Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm going to finish the series. It's going to be my entire
whole personality
until further notice. I am also very specifically interested to read Who Will Die. We Who Will Die.
Yeah,
that's coming out this year. Honestly, I think it's coming out in a couple of days. But so I think that'll probably be a pod book. And then Victoria Wadler is coming out with a new sort of series called Whiskey Women, The Whiskey Women, and it's in the Bourbon and Lies world, but it's going to take new characters. So I think it's going to be in that world. So I'm sure we'll see the Fox brothers and everybody, but it's going to follow some ladies in this whiskey world.
That's interesting. You know, I think I definitely enjoyed Bourbon and Lies more than I thought I was going to, and I think it was because it had like a mystery element to it. And I think I had said I would read the other books.
Yeah. I also think Victoria Wadler is about to like blow up.
I think she is too. We follow her on social media, and I feel like there's a lot going on in her world.
I didn't even do this on purpose, but I loved the Bourbon and Lies series so much. I bought the indie book because she was independently published. Yeah, she published all of those independently, forgetting what publisher, but she's going to be traditionally published. And these covers that I have like don't exist anymore.
Wait, do you have all the three books?
I have all three of those. So I just, I love them so much. I wanted to get them. So I purchased them. Now they're like the indie covers that won't exist anymore.
Oh, that's cool.
I know. I didn't mean to. Ahead of the
Great for her.
Yeah, no, really good for her. I think she's about to be one of the bigger romance writers, in my opinion. Okay. I have some reading intentions this year. I'm not necessarily going to call them goals. Okay. But
I don't like making goals. So please tell me yours.
Yeah. So I want to read some more memoirs. Like not like, I don't think they're ever going to be my main goal, but I'd like to read some more memoirs.
Okay.
Because I think the last few that I tried to read,
you didn't like the people.
I didn't like it. I tried to read the Matthew Perry one, and I was like, I want to throw this book and this man across the room. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
So, and everybody was like, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. And I'm like, I couldn't get through it. I don't know how anybody could. So I want to give the genre another shot.
Okay.
I want to really read like older books that I quote unquote missed, things that I just didn't get to because I was too busy reading Omegaverse. Yeah. Like I'm talking about Red Rising, maybe Onyx Storm. Who knows? A few like series that I couldn't get to for whatever reason that I really would want to. Most of them are in like the fantasy romantasy world. I'd love to pick back up Brendan Sanderson.
Oh yeah.
Like I want to get back into those. And I'd like to keep Omegaverse to like 10% of my reads. So I do enjoy it's a real comfort genre for me.
Which is insane to me.
But I want to keep it low. I want to keep it low.
Yeah.
One a month.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes. I mean, if I get into a depressive episode though.
Yeah. That's all you're going to read.
Yeah, it's all I'm going to read. I mean,
all bets are off, baby.
All bets are off. Okay. I'm going to protect my mental health by just reading a million of those back to back, but we'll see.
We'll certainly see.
Yeah.
I don't like goals and I don't like intentions. I don't really like looking forward.
I know you're a real Scorpio.
Yeah. So one thing I will say is that I hope to figure out a schedule for my reading that allows me to read both books that we're reading for the podcast and my comfort books that I want to read.
Okay. Yeah.
Because sometimes I need a little bit of a I need a little bit of a mix.
Yeah, I think so. You know what? I have a suggestion for you.
Tell me.
I think podcast books need to be mostly audiobooks. And then the books you read before you go to bed are going to be your comfort books.
Yeah.
I think that's how you try to separate it. It's not going to work 100% at the time, but that's the way that you think about it in your head. Like the podcast books are what you're listening to when we're doing all of our drives. When you're commuting to work, when you're doing your nails. Like it's just you're also those are your audiobook forward books. And then when you're falling asleep at night, those are your comfort books.
Good suggestion.
You're welcome.
That's
what I'm here for.
Thank you so much.
And then finally, what's going to go on with genre in 2026? We have...
Great question.
Because I forced Katie to make some goals about this, we have some ideas. I think what you're going to see is basically a continuation of our 2 book episodes a month, and then 2
off-book interviews.
Interviews a month. And I think we're going to try to diversify our off-book episodes a bit. So not just people who are our friends. I think we're going to try and get some authors, some book influencers, just some regular influencers that we've sort of like made friends with as we've been sitting here.
Trying to do social media.
Maybe they can help us.
Yeah.
But we definitely, I mean, there is something to the community you build when you're online, and we've definitely made some friends.
Yeah.
So trying to get those on, I think those people on, I think will be really great. And then our other one is, I guess watch that social media space. We're going to try and figure it out and be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah.
I think we've been I feel like really in the last few months, we've started to find a groove, but I think we need to find more of a groove, to be honest.
We definitely need to find more of a groove. We've lost the plot on YouTube.
Yes.
Gotta say, it's very difficult to post on multiple platforms on a regular daily basis. We'd love to be able to put, since we film every episode that we do, we'd love to put them out
on YouTube, like
on YouTube, so you can watch along. So we're going to try to figure that out. But like we said, this is a DIY.
I know. I mean, in fact, this is the first episode right now that we're trying to record both for YouTube to put out on YouTube and also like for social media clips and then also audio. We'll see how that goes.
Who knows if it's going to work. So maybe next Thursday you might see this on YouTube. Or if we lose our minds trying to figure it out, you will just see it wherever you stream your podcast.
Yes, exactly. So that is a big goal, is to get on YouTube for sure. And I think that's
really,
it.
That's 2025.
That's 2025, and that's looking forward to 2026.
Yeah, we just want to thank everybody that even listened to one episode of our silly little podcast.
Or just liked one of our silly little clips that we put on the internet.
We work really hard on those little social media clips, so make sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
Just a little comment would do us, it would make us so happy. We'd die from excitement.
We would absolutely love it. So thank you all for a unexpected 2025.
Yeah. And remember,
no genre shaming unless it's funny. Bye.